Junior Seau played professional football for 20 years, much of that time with the San Diego Chargers. And while we don't know if repeated blows to the head contributed to his death, there is evidence that repeated concussions over time can cause what's known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE. Joining me to discuss CTE, how it's affecting those playing contact sports, and our returning military men and women is my guest, Dr. Michael Lobatz. He is a neurologist and the director of the Rehabilitation Center for Scripps Health in Encinitas. Thank you, doctor, for being here.
Thank you.
We hear a lot about traumatic brain injury. What's the difference between TBI and now CTE?
Well, TBI presupposes that there's a single injury to the brain, and that may be something that you recover from, or it might be something that has lingering effects. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy presupposes multiple injuries to the brain and a degenerative process that then begins later in life, similar to something like Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease, where people then progress and worsen over time. And that's very different than a single brain injury, where we typically expect patients to have their symptoms initially and then remain the same or get better over time.
So how did experts begin to see this CTE?
Really, the first time we recognized it was in boxing and what we used to call punch drunk, now also known in medicine as dementia pugilistica. People that have had repeated blows to the brain in that boxing profession can develop memory loss that worsens over time, and we know that their brains are abnormal in comparison to others in a normal population. Later it became obvious that this might also occur in other groups, such as people in professional sports, which is what one of the focuses is today in terms of the National Football League. And we have a center in Boston where they're studying chronic traumatic encephalopathy in professional football players. And then lastly, we are very interested now in the effects of the concussions that are occurring in the military in Iraq and Afghanistan from blast injuries that might also put soldiers at eventual risk for the development of the same thing.
With regard to the military, how are you seeing this manifest itself, in terms of the men and women returning home?
Right now, the soldiers are all very young, and they're in their late teens or 20s or early 30s, and we're noticing that those that have had concussive brain injuries from blast injury may have difficulties with things like memory and concentration. They may have personality change. They may have headaches and dizziness and lightheadedness. And those kinds of symptoms have been reported by that group. And as time has gone by, many of them have gotten better. But it's that group that we're very concerned about in the future, those that have had persistent symptoms that might be at risk to develop this in the later years of their life.
So does that mean this will just keep getting worse as you grow older, or can you stop the progression of this disease or even treat it?
Well, right now we don't really know the answer to those questions, and we do know that people with repeated brain injuries are at particular risk for this. So if you've had multiple concussions as a boxer or as a football player, or if you've been in multiple accidents with concussions, you may find that you have trouble and difficulty with processing and memory. And those kinds of things are of particular concern to us, and that's where the research is focused.
And are you seeing a link between CTE and suicide and even, or depression and even suicide?
Well, there certainly is a link between CTE and behavioral changes. To take the leap from CTE all the way to suicide is a very big leap, because suicidal ideation is a very complex phenomenon, one in which many different things are involved other than just brain function itself. It might have to do with life circumstances, financial circumstances, and changes in your own psychosocial issues. So we do know that people that are depressed have a higher incidence of the development of suicidal ideation and may go on to develop a plan and actually carry out suicide. Fortunately, that's in a very small percent. 5% of the population have depression in the United States, but people with brain injuries, that depression incidence may be as high as 40%. So one thinks that there could be a link between all of those things.
Okay, we have to leave it there, Doctor, but we have more information, including links to other resources about this on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.